If you are over 60, this may be one of the most important episodes you hear this year. Now picture this. A walk that once took 5 minutes now takes 15 with pauses you never needed before. Halfway down the block, your legs feel weak, unsteady, and you wonder if you will make it back home safely. But here is what almost no one tells you about aging and walking. A major 2022 study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that more than 70% of seniors with walking difficulty are not struggling because their legs are weak. They are struggling because most exercise and rehabilitation programs only train muscles or joints while missing a third system that walking depends on. And what is even more striking is what that same research found next. The roughly 30% of seniors who did focus on this third system using just 3 specific leg exercises continued to walk confidently and independently well into their 70s. So here is why you should watch this episode. Japan's oldest practicing doctor put those exact exercises to the test in a clinical program involving more than 1,000 older adults. After just 8 weeks, nearly 85% improved their walking speed, balance, and endurance to levels they remembered from dynia earlier. And in today's conversation, he will show you how to rebuild those same patterns yourself. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast. Doctor, I am genuinely excited for this episode. So am I, John. And today's episode does not even require a gym or complicated equipment. It relies on one simple exercise broken into 3 essential parts, done safely at home. And this is not only about walking. It is about whether seniors remain confident and independent as the years pass. That really resonates because for so many of my patients, walking is not just movement. It represents freedom, confidence, and the ability to participate fully in life without fear. That is exactly right. I have spent decades caring for seniors, and most are not broken. They are disconnected. Their bodies have not failed. It is the communication that has simply faded. And today we are going to restore it, right? And if you are watching now, please let us know whether you are new to the channel or that you have been following for a while. We love to connect with everyone. We will walk through one foundational exercise with 3 key components that I use with my own patients. And please stay until the end because these exercises only work when you understand how they fit together. And skipping one is often why seniors never see real improvement in their walking. That reminds me of a patient I treated some years ago, Eleanor, 70. She slowly stopped walking outdoors because she felt unsteady and afraid of falling. She participated in your trial using this exercise, and now she is walking every morning again, smiling, no fear. That is the power of reconnection. So let us begin there before we dive into the actual exercise. Why does walking become harder after 60? And what is really happening inside the legs and nervous system when that change begins? Walking becomes harder for 3 reasons I hear again and again from my patients. They tell me they cannot walk as far as they once could. They feel slower even on familiar ground, or walking begins to hurt enough that they avoid it. What is important to understand is that these problems rarely appear alone, and over time they begin to reinforce each other. As confidence drops, movement becomes cautious, and the body slowly adapts to doing less. I hear that almost daily, and there is often fear underneath it. Seniors worry that this is the beginning of losing independence, even when they are still active in many ways. Yes, and this is where many older adults misunderstand what is happening inside their bodies. Pain, slowness, and limited distance are usually not 3 separate failures, but one shared breakdown in how walking is supported. With age, the body becomes efficient at conserving effort, especially when movement feels uncertain or unsafe. That efficiency slowly rewires how walking works, making it feel heavier and less reliable over time. That explains why so many feel stuck, even when they are trying to stay active and do the right things. And this is where I want everyone to feel encouraged, not discouraged. What looks like aging is often a system that has gone quiet, not a body that is worn out. That really reframes the problem for me. When you say system instead of symptom, what exactly do you mean? And how does that change the way we think about fixing walking after 60? Let me explain what I mean by a system, John. Walking is not one action but a conversation between structure, strength, and control that must stay in balance. When that conversation weakens, the body does not fail all at once. It quietly compensates in ways that make walking harder. That image of a conversation really lands for me. It sounds less like damage and more like something drifting out of tune over time. Yes, and a simple way I often describe it to seniors is to think of the body like a bicycle. The frame is your bones and joints, which give you structure and stability before anything else can work. The wheels are your muscles, which create movement, speed, and the ability to go farther without fatigue. That makes it very easy to picture how one weak part affects the whole ride. Exactly. And there is a third part most people forget until it is gone. The handlebars are your nervous system guiding balance, timing, and direction with every step you take. Without steady handlebars, even a strong frame and powerful wheels cannot keep you moving safely. I can already see how many programs focus on pedaling harder and forget steering entirely. That is precisely where most elderly are led astray. Many programs strengthen muscles or stretch joints, but they never restore how these systems work together. And when one part is trained alone, the body often becomes more cautious instead of more confident. That helps explain why seniors can exercise faithfully and still feel less steady over time. Now, here is the part I want listeners to lean into for a moment. Even when the system has gone quiet, it can be brought back with the right approach. But only if we change how we think about progress and effort. That sounds important and it makes me curious. How do you help us rebuild that system without pushing them too hard or making things worse? Well, the way I rebuild it is by changing how seniors think about effort. Most believe progress comes from doing more, but the body responds far better to gentle, consistent signals. Instead of adding strain, we restore communication step by step. That already feels reassuring, especially for seniors who worry about making things worse. Yes, and that is why I simplify everything. I give my patients one main exercise that safely wakes the entire walking system back up. It is slow, controlled, and designed for older bodies, not athletic performance. That really lowers the barrier to starting. Many seniors tell me they stop before they begin because exercises feel risky or overwhelming. Exactly, and that fear matters. This one exercise works across the whole system instead of isolating one part, supporting joints, activating muscles, and restoring balance together. When those three reconnect, walking starts to feel natural again. That brings the bicycle image back clearly. It sounds like the whole ride comes into balance. Yes, and the structure is just as important as the movement. The exercise is done in 3 connected parts slowly with short holds, and nothing rushed or skipped. If you leave one part out, the system stays incomplete. But when all 3 are done together, even gently, the change can be remarkable. That really draws me in. Can we slow down and walk seniors through the very first part so they can picture it before trying it themselves? Yes. Let's begin with the main exercise itself because this is the foundation everything else builds on. I start by asking to stand upright with feet about shoulder width apart, lightly holding a chair or counter in front of them for balance. From there, they should slowly shift their weight forward onto the balls of their feet and lift both heels off the ground. At the top of that movement, they hold for a full 5 seconds before slowly lowering their heels back down. That pacing already feels different from how most seniors are told to exercise. It sounds calmer and more controlled. Yes, and that is intentional. I recommend that seniors repeat this heel lift 10 times in a row, focusing on steady breathing and control, not speed. This movement activates the calf muscles, which are responsible for pushing the body forward with each step. When these muscles weaken, seniors lose walking speed first, then endurance soon after. That explains why so many seniors say they feel like they run out of steam even on short walks. Exactly. When the carbs begin working properly again, each step requires less effort. That translates into walking farther without fatigue and maintaining a steadier pace over time. This is why this first part directly improves walking speed and distance. I also notice you keep the instructions very simple, which matters for confidence, and simplicity is critical. Now, if this heel lift feels too easy, We do not add weight or change the exercise. Instead, we keep the same movement, but perform it at the edge of a step holding a railing for safety. The balls of the feet stay on the step, while the heels lower slightly below and then rise again, still holding for 5 seconds and repeating 10 times. That variation makes sense because it deepens the movement without adding risk or complexity. Yes, and once seniors are comfortable with that, the body is ready to learn the second part of the same exercise. This next movement looks similar, but it trains a completely different function of walking, and it plays a major role in preventing trips and falls. That sounds important. How does this next part differ from what we just covered, and what does it change for seniors when they walk? The next part looks similar at first, but it trains something entirely different. We start in the same position, standing tall with the feet about shoulder width apart and lightly holding a chair or counter. This time, instead of lifting the heels, seniors shift their weight back onto their heels and lift their toes off the floor. At the top, they hold that position for 5 seconds, then slowly lower the toes back down. I can already hear seniors saying that feels unfamiliar in a good way. Yes, and that difference is exactly the point. I ask them to repeat this toe lift 10 times, just like the first movement, moving slowly and staying in control. This activates the muscle along the front of the shin, which is responsible for lifting the foot when you walk. When that muscle weakens, toes begin to drag, and that is where trips and falls often start. That explains why so many seniors catch their foot on rugs or curbs even when they feel strong otherwise. Exactly. This movement improves toe clearance and foot control, so the foot lifts cleanly with each step when paired with the heel lift we discussed earlier. Walking becomes smoother and more predictable. One builds the push forward. The other ensures the foot clears the ground safely. You can really hear how they complete each other rather than competing. That balance between them matters deeply. Seniors who only train pushing off often feel faster but not safer. Seniors who only train lifting the foot may feel careful but still lack power. Together, these two parts restore a more natural walking rhythm. That feels like a meaningful shift already. But there is still one piece most seniors never think to train. Even with strong muscles, walking will remain shaky if this last part is missing. And it is often the difference between feeling steady and feeling hesitant. That makes me pause. What is this final piece? And why does it matter so much for confidence and balance when walking? This final piece is balance, and it is the part almost everyone skips. We return to the same heel and toe movements, but now we slowly reduce how much we hold on. Instead of gripping the chair, seniors use just 1 or 2 fingers or none at all if it feels safe. That small change forces the nervous system to wake up and take control again. I can feel how that would change everything, even though the movement itself stays the same. Yes, and this is where confidence is rebuilt. When the hands let go, the brain has to coordinate joints, muscles, and timing all at once. That is exactly what happens during real walking, especially outdoors or on uneven ground. Balance is not a muscle. It is a conversation. And this part restores it. That explains why seniors can be strong yet still feel unsteady. Exactly. I ask seniors to repeat the same 10 heel lifts and 10 toe lifts, but now with reduced hand support. They move slowly, hold each position for 5 seconds, and stop if anything feels unsafe. Skipping this part often means walking improves a little, but never feels truly secure. That really highlights how important this last step is. And here is where everything comes together. These are not 3 separate exercises. They are one complete walking solution. The joints provide structure, the muscles provide movement, and the nervous system provides control. I like how that reframes it as cooperation instead of effort. Yes, and for most seniors, less really is more. I recommend doing all 3 parts together once or twice a day, 10 repetitions each, holding 5 seconds, and increasing gradually by no more than 10 to 20% per week. There is no rush because steady progress is what restores independence. That pacing feels respectful of how seniors actually live day to day. And when these 3 parts are practiced together, walking stops feeling like work. It begins to feel coordinated again, almost familiar. That is the moment when confidence quietly returns. That makes me want to pause and picture how different that could feel for someone listening right now. How do you help seniors know they are progressing without pushing too fast or undoing that confidence? Let me explain how I guide seniors through that without taking away their confidence. I ask them to see these three parts as one single practice, not separate tasks to conquer. When joints, muscles, and balance are trained together, the body gives clearer feedback about progress. That feedback is what keeps seniors safe and motivated. That feels very different from the push harder mentality most of us grew up with. It sounds more like listening than forcing. Yes, and listening is the skill most seniors have lost trust in. I recommend they perform all three parts together once or twice a day, never rushing. 10 repetitions for each movement, holding each position for about 5 seconds, is enough in the beginning. Progress is measured by how steady and confident walking feels, not by how tired they are afterward. That really reframes success in a gentler, more human way. Exactly. Because when seniors push too fast, the nervous system responds with caution. But when progress is gradual, the system begins to cooperate again. I hear that a lot in seniors who feel stuck despite trying hard. And this is where patience becomes part of the treatment. When improvements come steadily, confidence grows quietly instead of being shaken by setbacks. That makes me think about how different the outcome could be when seniors feel supported instead of pressured. What happens for those who need an easier place to start or for those ready to gently challenge themselves without losing that sense of safety? What matters most is that you understand this is one complete practice, not a test of strength or endurance. When the three parts are done together, gently and consistently, the body begins to signal progress through steadiness and ease, not exhaustion. That is how confidence is protected instead of shaken. That feels grounding, and it makes the process feel safe instead of intimidating. I think we got a good roadmap here on how to improve our walking. So, if you are still listening, kindly let us know in the comments for how long you have been following us. And don't forget to like this video. Oh, and watch this next video right now. Yes, please, we've picked this one especially for you.